So far in 2023, there have been 146 initial public offerings or IPOs on the US stock market. And while that number is high, it's actually 16% lower than in 2022, where at this point there were 174 IPOs by this date. Some big names that have gone what we call public in 2023 include shoe manufacturer Birkenstock, grocery platform Instacart, discount store Value Village, as well as a handful of pharmaceutical companies. Joining us now to discuss the world of IPOs is Brendan Caldwell, director at Caldwell Securities Limited. Brendan, thank you very much for coming back on Forum Daily.
Great to be here, David.
Let's talk IPOs. What are IPOs?
Well, an initial public offering is one method for a company to make the transition from being privately owned to being publicly owned. By public, I mean available to the public, traded on a stock exchange, which is for many companies, particularly companies that are looking to grow and need capital, a good form of ownership, because it allows people across the country, across the world, to vote with their money, to be able to participate in whatever the idea, corporate investment idea that a company has to make money. So it allows for broad participation in the best, most productive, lucrative ideas that entrepreneurs bring to the market.
So, I mean, you've mentioned that they may be good in terms of participation, but on the economic side, why are they important to our economy?
Well, when a company becomes public, and doing an initial public offering is one way of doing that, it is important because these public companies often become the largest economic entities in the country. I mean, when you think about Canada, you think about the banks, the railways, the telephone and telecommunications companies. They all make up the mining companies, the energy companies, make up such a big part of our economy that enabling investors to be able to participate in those companies connects the people with the means of production. You can become a capitalist, even if you're a member of a union, or if you're a student, or if you're a TV broadcaster. You can own a part of an energy company, a technology company, a pharmaceutical company, or a retailer. And by owning a piece of that, there was a carpenter out of Nazareth who said, "Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." So when an entrepreneur, like an Elon Musk, or God rest his soul, Steve Jobs, or Bill Gates, or a Mark Zuckerberg, comes up with a phenomenal idea, and millions of people participate in that idea, and they make lots of money. If you as an investor can make money alongside Elon Musk or Bill Gates, you don't nearly resent them as much. So I think it's a very important part of not just the economy, but political and social cohesion.
And on that company side, what are some of the advantages or disadvantages of that transition from being privately held to becoming publicly listed?
Well, when you're a private company, you don't have to disclose as much. You don't have to jump through so many hoops. There's a tremendous regulatory burden to being public, which has caused many companies to delay, particularly in the United States, delay becoming public till much later in the process, where private investors, venture capitalists, private equity investors, usually the wealthy to ultra wealthy, are the ones that are providing the financing. And increasingly over the years, the initial public offering stage has been seen as the end game rather than beginning. So for companies from back in Henry Ford's time through Intel and even Google, going public was really the beginning stage. And the great advantage is that it allows you access to public capital. It allows you to raise money from millions and millions of people all at once, and there are processes to make that viable. So regulatory burden is the one disadvantage to being public, or the major disadvantage. Yeah. And being able to raise money is a big advantage.
Well, Brendan, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for coming back on Forum Daily.
Thank you, David.